Hello my little ravens, welcome back to the channel. In this lesson we will be covering elements of Sumerian magic, in this case white and black magic in ancient Sumer. The first written records of spells and incantations were created in ancient Sumer, one of the many civilizations to be born from Mesopotamia, which constitutes modern-day Iraq, between the 4th and 1st millennia before Common Era. The Sumerians developed one of the earliest writing systems, known as cuneiform, and produced evidence of spells and incantations from the year 2600 before Common Era onwards. Already by this point there appears to be evidence of what today is constituted as white or black magic, present in ancient Sumer through evidence of tablets that belonged to sanctioned quote-unquote exorcists. However, the question that we will be discussing today is what distinguished the Sumerian white magic from black magic, and how do they vary from the concepts of white and black magic today? Well, much like today, the ancient Mesopotamians, the Sumerians included, believed that the world was threatened by a host of demons and sorcerers versed in the darker arts. The Sumerians believed that black magic constituted all magic that would cause ill to the target of the spell or the hex. The results from such magics were believed to cause mental illness, physical ailments, disease, a lack of libido, weaker babies, and many other unexplainable phenomena during that time. Unlike stereotypes of today, black magic was not simply blamed on the power of a sorcerer or a demon. Could be, but it necessarily wasn't always the case. There was an element of belief that engaging in social taboos made one susceptible to a hex, as though someone's weaker will made them weaker to spiritual attacks. In this aspect, the ancient Mesopotamian belief in black magic is similar to beliefs that are still held by some to this date. However, it is important to note that the term demon is a little crude for the context of the Sumerians and Mesopotamians as a whole, due to the fact that the religion of the time did not have the clear distinguished line between good and evil as religions such as Christianity and Islam do today. The demons of Mesopotamia are more appropriately labeled by researchers as agents of illness, not necessarily dark beings. They were executors of the god's darker divine will, rather than underlings of a king in the nether realm banished there by a vengeful deity. Because the demons were considered to be officers of misfortune, it was thus considered black magic to call on these agents for their powers, because it was believed no good could ever come from them. It was categorically asking for trouble. It would also appear that black magic also referred to a specific type of magic, as they too asked for the same kind of trouble. Similarly to the modern witches of the 21st century, one type of magic that was classified categorically by the ancient Mesopotamians, and the Sumerians included, as black magic, was love magic. To strengthen an existing relationship was no crime, but the manipulation of feelings, emotions, and relationship was. It was the magic that was predominantly used to not make someone fall in love with someone else, but to ensure that the relationship of the two people in question would fail. If you theorize that the type of relationship was a factor, I'm sorry to disappoint. It did not matter whether the spell targeted a heterosexual relationship or a homosexual one. The spell would ensure that the two people would be split from each other, doesn't matter what kind of relationship. That kind of inner interference was not only just considered inappropriate, but the height of hubris, and it is still not considered appropriate to this day. Most neo-witches of the 21st century would think twice before ever creating such a spell, as the consequences of a spell such as that could be drastic and very unwelcome indeed. The energy cast in a spell such as that is usually volatile and unpredictable. There have been known cases of spells going far out of hand, such as the person enchanted growing obsessions with the witch trying to cast a spell. However, it is unclear if such occurrences actually happened in Sumeria as well, as there appears to be very little physical evidence of effects of spells written down and thus transmitted down to us as physical evidence. Arguably, the idea of black magic has not changed over millennia, but rather what constitutes it has adapted. It has nothing to do with intent as it is today, but rather the type of magic and the ancient agents used to execute it. As for white magic, ancient Mesopotamians used it in order to counteract black magic. It was seen as the natural opposition and thus the natural cure to the effects of black magic. Incense, potions, enemas, mathematics, yes, you heard that correctly, incantations and other rituals were used as a cleansing method for hexes, especially ones that considered full-figured copulation, to say it politely. The Asu, or the physician, was summoned along with an Ashipu, a sort of shaman, part medicine, part medical doctor, part diviner. The Ashipu's task was to fight the black magic with white healing magic of a specific constitution, such as, for example, if a black magic ritual was supposed to target someone's fertility, the white healing spell was supposed to counteract that and be based on a fertility charm. Yin and yang, let's leave it at that. Medical treatments, divination and counterspells were performed in tandem in order to transfer as much energy onto the targeted individual as possible and to provide as much counteracting magic as one could manage. White magic was a label, much like black magic, placed upon specific types of magic, which leads us to the concept of white magic, which is considered to, for this day and age, which is considered to be a magic without any ill intent woven into the fabric of the spell, nor into the words stated along with the spell if an incantation has been cited. White magic is not simply the magic that is used to counteract black magic today, or cures those who have fallen prey to illness or hexes, but is deemed to be pure in intent. Naturally, it can be used for the purpose of counteracting negative magic, but is not only referred to thus. So, akin to black magic, white magic has had a shift in its, how should I say this, magical constitution, how and why it is performed, linked more closely to intent than a type of magic. To conclude, what distinguishes Sumerian white magic from black magic was the type of magic employed and the agents associated with executing the spells or rituals in question. Black magic was associated with demons, agents of illnesses, and forbidden magics that should never have, in any good conscience, been performed at all. White magic was a specific counterbalance and magical antidote to black magic, again specified by the type of magic or ritual performed. How they vary from today's concept of white and black magic is that white and black is the label given by modern witches to the intent behind the spell. If the intent behind the spell is malevolent or benevolent, the spell's categorization adapts to this. If the intent changes, the classification changes also. There is no specification in modern witchcraft compared to Sumerian magic unless one talks about love magic and spells to manipulate life and death. These are categorically forbidden as they can be so easily abused.